Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. We're here to discuss 3 books that are published by Sultan Bahoo. They're his books, and amongst his writings, these are the treasures that we hear, and I'm greatly honored. I'm Dr. Amineh Hoti. I'm a fellow commoner here at Lucy Cavendish College, University of Cambridge. I'm a professor at the University of Nottingham, and I've worked for the United Nations. And it's my great privilege and pleasure to be here discussing the ideas of Sultan Bahoo. Now, before I get into that, I want to step back a bit and look at the context we are in as a world civilization. We're here post-COVID, where we have experienced a very difficult time for the world in a period of isolation, a period where we were all locked down and really, kept away from each other, from human touch, from human communities. So we had that big gap in our mental space. And what that meant for a lot of young people was not just isolation, but mental health problems. And a lot of the time, the mental health was dominated by the social media. So we have this huge filling in of what causes confusion or disappointment or a sense of alienation from society. And why spirituality is very important is because it fills in that gap. So that is why it's so important to have a sense of the divine, a beautiful divine presence who created the universe and created humanity so that it can fill in those gaps of isolation and loneliness. Because the biggest problem apparently in the world today amongst young people, but also generally, is a sense of unease where mental health is concerned. And I want to focus now on the nizam of beloved Rabb, who's the beloved creator. In this nizam, there is beloved God with his stunning 99 names. And recently, I have been delving into this beautiful 99 names of God. So each name is like an ocean. And remembrance of this name, for example, mercy or compassion, or the idea of strength or inner or outer peace, all these are attributes from beloved God. And that strengthens us or makes us stronger in our path, in our journey in the life, which is a difficult life because we always have challenges. And that is something Sultan Bahoo talks about a difficult journey in life. And how to overcome them is through zikr, is through remembrance of these beautiful attributes displayed and embodied in those 99 names of beloved God. Now, with beloved God, there are angels and prophets and saints and waliullahs, as they are called in the local language. And the idea that these prophets and saints and their lives inspire us because they have made huge sacrifices. Their lives are devoted to the cause of improving humanity, improving the earth, bringing a positive change and a sense of mental peace and spirituality, because the whole focus is on healing and remembrance, and it's with the river, it's a flow, and aligning one's will with that flow, with that river, is something very important. The idea in Islam is that God created all of human beings. He taught Adam the names, as it says in the holy text in the Quran, and the names is a symbol for knowledge. So when God made humankind, he made them very different to other creatures. So the thing that makes us more special is our aql, or our intellect. And therefore, when Muslims bow 5 times a day to beloved God in humility, and when they submit themselves, it is because they lower that intellect in an act of complete submission and humility. So for human beings, the biggest challenge is their ego. And that is another concept that Sultan Bahoo talks about very strongly in all of his 3 books. He talks about overcoming a sense of ego, or loyi, what you call in Pashto, a sense of, humanity, have a sense of pride. I can do this. I've got these degrees. I've got this achievement. It makes you very proud, and it makes you lose a sense of grounding or humility. And therefore, this act of letting go, of letting that inner desires of selfishness, of greed, of wanting, letting that go and replacing it with the will and the vision of a higher being, beloved God, and his prophets and saints. And his prophets, of course, include prophets like Moses and Jesus and all the wonderful prophets we have seen and we don't know about. And they include the vision of the saints as well, including our Hazrat Sultan Bahoo. So what we get out of the idea that every person is a representative of God on earth is the idea that, as Rasulullah, the Prophet of Islam, said, all human beings are equal as the teeth of a comb. What that means is there is a sense of egalitarianism in society. Everybody is equal, whether it's the king or the slave. And that idea is stunning. Remember, it's 7th century Arabia that these concepts came in, but it's meant to be practiced by everybody because it's a universal idea, universal message. And number 2, the idea of being Khalifa or representative of God for every human being on earth who is a believer is a beautiful concept because it places huge responsibilities on the individual. So the individual is responsible to educate themselves spiritually, morally, ethically, in terms of the world, deen and dunya, and keep that balance because, of course, the religion is a religion of balance, not of extremes. And extremes in itself is a zulam. It's an excess. It is unwanted and it is wrong. So the balance is always the idea of, it's an important idea. So the key points are egalitarianism and number 2, to cultivate individuals who are trained in knowledge of deen and dunya, because we live in the world. So we are not excluded from it, but we're living within the world. We must pick up these ideas of saints like Sultan Bahoo and other saints and figures from all faith communities, but especially here, we're focusing on our beloved Hazrat Sultan Bahoo. So along the path of life, there are these special people devoted to beloved God and his cause, and Sultan Bahoo is one of them. They are called gems and jewels. The metaphor of gems and jewels is recited and noted by many, many scholars. So many scholars, including Maulana Rumi and Imam al-Ghazali, and many other scholars, Shah Abdul Latif Bhittai from Pakistan, Waris Shah, a lot of these scholars in their books have talked about holy people and compared them, made this analogy of gems and jewels, using the words even pearls and rubies. So if you see my book here, I've published this book just this year, recently. It's called Gems and Jewels, The Religions of Pakistan. And in this book, in the introduction, you will see many scholars and many saints who've referred to the idea of gems and jewels. And Sultan Bahoo, in his 3 books, talks about the idea of zikr and spirituality as pearls. He uses the word pearls and gems. He even uses the word gold. So these are precious. And the metaphor of gold is something that is a treasure for humankind, something that we can learn from. And therefore, these are jewels, they're gems. So this book of mine also has a section on Sultan Bahoo, and it has a lovely picture of Sahibzada Ali, who is Sultan Bahoo's descendant and who came to my office in the Higher Education Commission with his excellent and outstanding team in Islamabad. And of course, his team in London has been superb in every way. So really, I'm really impressed by this organization, mashallah, and may Rabbi bless them. So going back to the idea of gems and jewels, we need our heroes, we need role models in today's world. If you see populations like Pakistan, the majority of the population are young people. And often I've been teaching at colleges like Foreman Christian College, FC College, I've been teaching at Air University, at Fatima Jinnah, at so many other NUST, etc. But often when I've come into interaction with young students who are very enthusiastic and they'd love more courses on dialogue, on knowing about the saints, about empathy, about the dialogue of civilizations, but they're not many, unfortunately. Also, who are their role models? So some of their role models and heroes are the prophets and saints who they don't know much about, but would love to know more. And Sultan Bahoo is one of the saints I would like to discuss and talk about and explore his ideas. And it is a great privilege for me to do so today. So I'm greatly honored to talk about Sultan Bahoo and his books, and to talk and to take some nachor, like they say in Urdu, some gist or ideas from his books, his 3 books that have recently been launched. Sultan Bahoo wrote about 139 books in his lifetime because the idea of knowledge is key to Islam and the Quran. When the Quran was revealed, God said, read. The angel Jibreel told the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, to read in the name of thy Lord, who created and taught men by the pen. And of course, men, we mean humankind. So the idea of ilm or knowledge is supremely important, and that is central to faith and to the idea of living a life that is informed by knowledge and spirituality and love of the beloved and love of humanity, of course. So God constantly refers to humankind as ahle aql, O people of thought, O people of thought. And that is a significant reference for a community who needs to have much more literacy and focus much more on knowledge. So I'd like to turn now to Sultan Bahoo very briefly. Hazrat Sultan Bahoo was born in 1629 in Shorkut, a town in district Jhang in Pakistan. His father, Muhammad Bayezid, was a pious jurist and commander of the Shorkut fort in Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan's army. His mother, Bibi Rasti Mai, was a wonderful lady and an inspirational mother. She supported her son till the age of 40 when her husband died. She played the role of the mother and the father, which is such a significant thing. Now, I want you to make a little bit of comparison between the mother of Isa alayhi salam, Jesus, Mother Mary. She too played a strong role as a mother. Look at Baba Farid's mother. Baba Farid's mother also plays a very central role in Baba Farid's life. In fact, there's a beautiful story where Baba Farid says his prayers every day and his mother places a little bit of sugar under his prayer mat. So one day she forgets, and yet the sugar is still there because miraculously, the little boy is tempted to say that prayers and get a reward of the little sweet at the end of the day. So the mothers play a central role. If you look at Eidi from Pakistan, who has the largest ambulance service in the world, and he's done so much for his community and for the world. And again, his mother played a key role. She would encourage him to take charity and food and drop it at people's houses without them knowing that she was or he was behind this. So it was anonymous. And so mothers and women play a central role in this development of saints. And this is a common thread that I have seen and studied. So before Sultan Bahoo's birth, I'm going to read from his book. His mother, Honorable Bibi Rasti Mai, had a dream in which she was given glad tidings that she will have a son. It was also revealed to her that her son will be a friend of the beloved by birth, and he will unveil treasures of the Almighty to the people. And therefore he was Bahoo, because he was with the beloved. Ba means with, and Hu is the name for the beloved. Now, Honorable Ali Al-Murtada, who is the cousin of the Prophet of Islam, and who is the father of Hazrat Imam Hassan and Hussein, holds Hazrat Bahoo's hand in a vision and takes him in the presence of the Holy Prophet, the Prophet of Islam, who is pleased to see him and says, "Hold my hand." His spiritual oath is administered on the hand of the Prophet. Following the order from the Prophet, Sheikh Abdul Qadir Al-Jilani, who's a beautiful and spiritual saint, also from the Middle East, bestows him a special spiritual status and transfers spiritual excellence into his heart through spiritual concentration. So through this silsila, or through this passing on of knowledge, it's like the baton, the Olympic champion who passes on the baton from one athlete to another. The ideas or the sense of spirituality and knowledge and the love for beloved and humanity run through the themes of this book. And that is a brief introduction to Sultan Bahoo in today's context. And we look forward to exploring a few more ideas in the books that we're going to read out and explore with you. Thank you.